I know Celebrity Cruises is not known for kids and family, but we wanted to try it anyway. So we came away feeling a little bit different than when we went in. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about if I think Celebrity is good for kids and families, and if so, what type of family I think it's for, and what worked for us and what didn't work aboard Celebrity Cruises. So starting with first impressions of the ship. So the vibe it gave was, of course, not very kid friendly, but there were kids on board. Of course, there were more adults, but as I said in the previous video, there were a lot of different groups of people there, a lot of friend groups, families. So the vibe was adult vibes, but not necessarily not kid vibes. Um, what really worked for us, if you go back and watch our embarkation day video, I did a tour of our cabin. So we had a ultra deluxe veranda cabin. That cabin is perfect for families. It has a master bedroom that is separate from the other bedroom. The second bedroom had bunk beds, which my kids absolutely loved. Now, one thing to note that I did not note in my earlier embarkation day video, the room was forward of the ship, and it can be extremely loud when the ship is leaving port or when it's arriving. So you could hear the lines dropping um, when ships got into port. So something to note if you want to book that cabin, especially if you have like toddlers or babies in that room, the noise will probably wake them up if they're napping or overnight, because it woke us up a couple of mornings at about 6 a.m. So, but overall, love the room. I would book it again, even with the noise, because the space was unbeatable. Activities for kids on board. So there weren't a lot of course, kid related shows or activities outside of Camp at Sea, and that's their children's programming on board Celebrity Cruises. Now, my kids enjoyed Camp at Sea. They went every day on our 3 day sailing. They didn't stay all day, but they would go a couple of hours a day, and they had like a scavenger hunt, and they had the silent disco, and they had that where you could bring where families could come to the silent disco. So that was enjoyable. Food options. They did have food options available that most kids would eat. You know, your chicken nuggets, your spaghetti, your hot dogs. My son likes steak, so he would order steak when we would go to restaurants that had steak. But otherwise, burgers, spaghetti, salad, those type of things on the buffet that kids have access to. Now, one of the things that my kids love that you typically don't get on other cruise lines that are more family geared, the pool was not full every day. So one day we went out at like 11 a.m. and the pool was empty. Nobody was in there but my daughter. So they really loved that there were um, a lot of times where either they were the only ones in the pool or it may have been like 4 or 5 other kids in the pool with them. I enjoyed that too because a crowded pool is hard to see where your kids are. So I like that as well. Something that I asked my children was that were they bothered? Did they feel differently like that? That there were a handful of kids on board and it wasn't just overrun with kids? And their answer was, "Well, we were fine because we don't like a lot of kids in one spot either." And I laughed because I'm like, "Oh well, that's true. I mean, you guys typically play with each other and play well together sometimes." So yeah, they were fine with it being a small group of kids. They were able to form better connections because there were so many kids in this age group and so many kids in that group. It wasn't hundreds of kids there. So they even had little friends that they would see around the ship. They would call them by name. So that was fun. So they were able to form relationships because it was such a small number of kids on board. In terms of, like I said, shows, there wasn't a lot of entertainment um, for kids, but that's fine. We typically don't do a lot of shows when we're on board other cruise lines as well. Um, Now, what type of family I think this is for? So my children are 13 and 8. I I would recommend that age group, my kids' age group, on Celebrity. Um, Not necessarily maybe toddler or 5 and under, just because like there are no splash pads, there are not a lot of I saw babies on board, but like I said, they were babies, and The camp at sea, of course, you have to pay extra if you want to take your infant or toddler to camp at sea if they're not um, potty trained. So I think this is also for a chill family. Now, we're a pretty chill family. Like, we don't need a lot of entertainment. Like, as long as we're there together, we just like hanging out, exploring different things together. We don't need a lot of bells and whistles. Like, we don't need the slides, the splash pad, the, you know, skating or any other roller coasters. Like, we typically, I mean, it's cool to have, but we don't need that to have a good vacation. But if your family is about the wow and all the activities and the roller coasters and splash pads, celebrity may not be um, for you. Overall, we would go back on Celebrity again with the kids. I asked them what they thought, and they said they did want to go back, but not for 3 days. They were not a fan of the 3 day sailing. So we will do Celebrity again, just longer than 3 days. In terms of any drawbacks, they will say, of course, they're 3 days, but I didn't see any drawbacks. I asked them, they didn't see any drawbacks aside from the short time. They liked the camp. Wasn't their favorite camp in the measuring up to the other ones that they tried, but they still liked it and they want to do it again. So you guys let me know if you sell Celebrity with your kids before. Let me know how it went. Would you do it again? Also, like I said, we want to try Celebrity again. So drop in the comments. Let me know which ship we should try next because we definitely want to check it out. My overall review is, like I said, we'll be back and the kids will be back with us as well. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you found some parts of it helpful. If you're planning a trip with your kids on Celebrity, I hope this helps. And don't forget to hit that like button on this video and hit subscribe to Barnes on the Go for more of our travel content and travel adventures. Thanks for watching.